Okay, so this is an unannounced, impromptu, well, rescheduled, yes, 10th episode of Your Comedy Bestie with Erica Switzer and the good homie Cam Honeyager.
Brr, brr, brr. What's up? Brr, brr, brr.
Cam,
What
yeah,
up?
I know you just said, we said it's hot. It is
Yeah,
ridiculous
I-
today in the area.
yeah. I'm losing weight, thankfully, but it's all water weight.
I was about to say, just sitting there?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's like 95 out here right now. Like I've got central AC, but I'm just so scared of how the bill's gonna look next week or next month.
Okay. But
Yeah,
considering that we're in like a 5-day heat wave, I think a
yeah,
$300 AC
yeah,
bill is okay.
yeah,
As long as it means life and breathing.
yeah.
I want to go ahead and get started because I know Cam and I've known Cam for about 5 years. But I want the world to know Cam. I'm glad the Chicago area is getting to know Cam. So let's dig in a little bit. Can you tell us where you're from? Give us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, I'm originally from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Born and raised there. Um, was always obsessed with comedy and did a couple mics there when I turned 18. And then went to school in Florida, and that's where I really started doing comedy. Was while I was in college, hitting open mics here and there. And then I was in LA after that. I got an internship, and so while I was doing that and working retail, I was working through the comedy scene there. And then COVID happened, and everything kind of just went flat. And so I moved back to Michigan for a couple of years, and then moved up to Chicago 3 years ago now.
And so, how has that transition been for you?
It's been good. It's been interesting for sure. Just hopping from like so many scenes and like having to restart so many times. But it was good. There was a couple people here I knew already, which was nice. So they were able to help me navigate. And then, it was pretty much just like show up and just be funny and then kind of just let everything else fall into place.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because so it's a couple of things I want to touch on that you mentioned, which are awesome. One, your resilience and being able to bounce from place to place and still be solid and still keep crafting and keep
Yeah.
getting better and better and better. Like,
Yeah. And like I learned different things, kind of being in different scenes, different styles and stuff, and like what I think works, what doesn't. And you learn how to like network too and be around comedians and stuff like that too.
and I got to say, shout out to the Grand Rapids scene.
Yeah.
Shout out to Carl Merrick. Shout out to a good handful of the Grand Rapids comics that reached out and applied to be on Your Comedy Bestie. And there
Oh, yeah.
was a lot of y'all.
Really?
Hey, listen, I wanted to go to Kalamazoo
Yeah.
College. I know y'all got
Yeah.
fire in those pens up there.
Yeah. They hustle hard out there. Yeah. It's like it instilled something in me because I was there for just a couple of years during COVID.
Yeah,
And it's like everyone just constantly out every night, constantly working, constantly getting together and writing, like constantly pushing each other to like do better and to go after opportunities and stuff. It's a good mindset.
that's what I love. Like,
Yeah.
y'all are in those pens, in those
Yeah.
notebooks, in a good community to
Yeah.
be kind of in the middle of Michigan. So,
Yeah.
do Grand Rapids comics wind up coming to Chicago and Detroit, being kind of
Yeah.
in both
Pretty
cities?
much. Yeah. Now that me and like a couple other Grand Rapids comics have moved here, there's more people that are like willing to come visit and like crash on our couches and stuff. It used to be that they mainly just went to like Detroit and Lansing.
Yeah.
But now they're starting to venture over to Chicago a little bit more. I'm slowly just moving the scene over to Chicago.
I don't see why not. I
Yeah.
mean, Fort Wayne's not that too far away, but given
No.
they have like what 2 or 3 really good clubs, there's
Yeah.
still more in the bigger cities.
Yeah.
I would imagine a Grand Rapids comic going to Fort Wayne is like me going to Janesville, Wisconsin, or one of those
Right.
Wisconsin. And that's awesome. It's good to get great reps, locally that way.
Exactly.
You've been in 2 of the big cities, which is awesome. Considering, what's your favorite of the 2 big cities so far?
Oh, Chicago for sure.
Okay. Is it because of the scene or because of the opportunities or?
Well, yeah, I would say there's at the time. See, it's hard. In LA, there's opportunities because you never know who you're in front of. It could be some producer, it could be some other big comedian or someone that opens up for some big comedian. There's a lot more. There's a shorter distance between you and like the big time in LA. In
Right.
Chicago, but in Chicago, there's more actual comics. There's people that care about like quality of the art and an actual community of people. In LA, there really wasn't much of a community that I really felt like it was anything real. It's a lot of just people kind of talking through you and like, what can you do for me and that type of stuff, and just like not really any real connections. Where in Chicago, it's very like real connections. You're going out, you're hanging out with these people all the time, you know, in and out of the comedy world, and yeah, and just the audiences I think too are better here. You get a good mix of different types of people. Where in LA, it's more just like, you know, they're all just trying to like, they're like pretending to be an audience. It's hard to explain, you know what I mean? But like they're going out to just go like, oh yeah, we went to the comedy show.
To
They're
do
like,
anything.
yeah, just to do something, you know, and be a part of a moment that might happen, you know.
Absolutely. I have to agree with you 100% on what you said about LA, because even though I wasn't like brick and mortar in LA comic, people thought I was an LA comic for a long time because of coming home from Shanghai and directly getting on virtual and winning the Flappers competition, winning their
Right.
Super Bowl. So, and like what you said, even that being virtual still got me in front of a whole bunch of people I never would have expected. I got followed by folks I never dreamed of. And then I was showing up on Zoom shows with Atsuka, with Emma
Yeah.
Willman. And then all of a sudden I'm like, what the heck is going on
Yeah.
with my life?
Yeah, that's the interesting thing. That's once Chicago can figure that part out a little bit better, I think we'll have like a really, really strong scene, you know. But like all the great comics here just moved to LA or New York, so that's the hard part if they don't stay here.
I would agree. And
Yeah.
I absolutely agree with what you said with our audiences. We know how to be audience.
Yeah.
If anybody says anything against the down to earthness of Chicagoans and Midwesterners, well,
Yeah.
especially Chicagoans,
Right.
I wouldn't trust them. I'd say
Right.
because we come mostly to these shows, keep it real, try to get our money's worth,
Yeah.
giving them chuckles, giving them good laughs, and for the most part.
Right.
Hecklers be about business. You better get to your funny, man. You know,
Get to it.
kind of stuff. But
Well, it's like us as comedians, we want to try to like write stuff that's real and connects with real people. And in LA, there's not really many real people. Everyone there is trying to be an actor, a musician, a vlogger, an influencer. You know, where here you have people that are like, I'm trying to be a doctor, I'm trying to be a lawyer, I'm working class, I want to, you know, get in this union. You know, there's so many different just real regular people. So it's like when you are writing with that in mind, that's where we're going. That's what you're aimed for as a comedian, is to like be able to appeal to those real mass audiences. I see someone hop in saying, "Hey,
that's my childhood bestie.
what
Hey,
up?"
bestie, how you doing this Sunday? I'm chilling with my homie Cam. I hope you enjoy our interview. Cam is a sweetheart and one of the funniest folks I know, which is why I was too thrilled that we were able to finally line up some time. Hey, we got pushed ahead. I'm grateful. Chicago audiences, I want to just get on them for one more moment.
Yeah,
I saw a Breakfast Club clip with Mike Epps saying that Chicago audiences are the toughest.
yeah.
Do you agree?
I don't know, because like you can get a real good mix of people from different walks of life, and I think that's the best audiences. And like if you're a good enough comic, that's the room you should be able to kill in. So like they'll force you to be good because you'll have to go. So if you're bombing, yeah, it's really tough. But also like I've done rooms in like the middle of nowhere where it's a bunch of just like 60-year-old white people who are like super religious, and those are very tough rooms to do as well. And so, yeah.
They don't want to hear them butter churning jokes all the time.
Exactly. Like I had a joke about pegging, and the old lady's like, "What is that?"
That's that thing Myrtle's husband left. They keep it real, I think, to an extent.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to like home and family type stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
What's been one of your favorite venues to perform in?
Ooh.
I mean,
So
given all those aspects.
yeah, I'll give you a couple. So the Milwaukee Improv, I did that, and I did a roast battle there with our friend Tina,
Nice.
and they just had like that wasn't even like an audience thing. That was just the club itself was like amazing. They like take care of comics like no other club I've been to. Like they had this amazing green room. We get there, they're like, yeah, the fridge is full of beer. We're bringing a bunch of appetizers. You go to the bathroom, I had like Tums, antacids, and like tampons and everything. The giant beautiful mirror. I was like, this place is amazing. Like I've done other shows where they're like, go stand in this closet for the next 20 minutes and then we'll bring you up. So
Okay.
that was nice. Yeah.
I am trying to, I don't know why it won't let me do it. I'm trying to show a picture of the Milwaukee Improv
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's nice.
because it really is one of the most gorgeous that I've seen. I don't know why it won't give me the doggone.
Loading.
Oh, present. Huh. Share screen.
Blame
Huh.
it on the heat. There you go.
There we go. I'm smart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here we
Like,
go.
and that's just like the what's it called, the foyer, I guess.
Yeah.
That's like the outside of the club part. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Inside is gorgeous. I'm glad I was able to hop in upon some pictures to show. I really
Yeah.
wanted to just, I couldn't just let it go this
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's a modern, super ultra modern space, real clean, real vibrant. The lighting situation is great. The sound is amazing. The front, when you walk in, it's like this. It's
crazy.
dream for a comedian to play in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, man. Whew.
Yeah. I've done my fair share of bowling alleys and, VFW halls and stuff. So to get to go to clubs like that, it's nice.
When you're standing on a pallet in the back of a VFW 856,
Yeah.
Shelton chapter. Yeah. Yeah. It makes a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. Donetta says beautiful is true. It's gorgeous. Yeah. What's another one?
Well, another one I had was I did this show. This is actually like a very small town show I did, where it's a benefit that they do every year up in Everett, Michigan. And yeah, my friend Joe puts it on. He's like, his family is like one of the like 5 families up there. But yeah, it's a big benefit for like the local students to go to class or to go to college, and everybody in the town shows up. They like do an auction, raise money, and everybody just gets shit faced. So like 300 people, and they put us all in like this cabin on a lake. They had one of the locals just happened to like own an old limo from like the 90s, and it was still running. And he like put us all in the limo and like filled it full of booze and other stuff. And it was a good time. Like that was our grade room. They had like a ton of free food. Everybody was having a good time and partying. And I just murdered. I had like one of my best sets. And it was just like one of those like peak comedy nights. Because then like afterwards, we all went out and partied with everybody in the town, and it was a great time. Yeah,
that's excellent. I love those nights. That sounds epic, man.
It's one of those like peak. It's like it's nothing fancy, and it's like, but one of the nights I'll remember forever because we were up to like 6 a.m. It was a good time.
You didn't want it to end. Yeah,
exactly.
And you got up on stage and felt like putting the Game Genie on the cartridge and popping it in. And
exactly.
That's what I'd love to hear. On the contrary, what's been some of the worst great venues that you've performed at?
Yeah. Let me think about that one. Well, I've done a lot of, like I said, I've done a lot of bowling alleys. For some reason, bowling alleys attract comedy. I think it's just the carny energy of yeah, I'm trying to think of it. Oh, I did a funeral. I forgot about that. Yeah, it was up in Hesperia, Michigan, and someone's cousin had just died who was they were a comic, and their cousin died, and their cousin really loved comedy, and so they really wanted to, we were thinking maybe doing a show at their memorial, and we get there, and it's just all out just madness. There's kids running around everywhere, people just drunk and throwing up places. And then they had like a trailer bed that was attached to a truck that they just pulled up and like had a speaker on. And then they had someone come up and like rap for like 20 minutes before us. And then they're like, all right, here's the comedians. And then we all had to do like 10 minutes. And nobody was paying attention except the kids. All of the kids like just sat down right in front of us. We're just like, and so I'm like trying not to do any dirty jokes. And then I just started talking to the kids. I was like, all right, well, I became Mr. Rogers, white trash Mr. Rogers.
Crowd work with kids at a funeral.
Yeah.
Pretty epic.
It was crazy. Yeah, I totally forgot about that.
What's the visuals that I'm getting?
Yeah.
So what do you do?
What do you do? Finger paint?
Oh my gosh. What are you drinking? Sippy cup.
Juice.
Too cute.
Yeah.
Better term. I think the closest I know of doing that is kids improv at Babs Comedy Club, Park, Saturdays. Holler at the homie Emily Ramirez. Shout out.
There you go.
So we're talking about venues. Transitioning way. Well, no, let's keep that going. What's your favorite kind of show to perform in? I mean, because you've done them all. You've done bar shows, you've done the charity shows, funeral shows, amazing club shows. So what's your comfort zone? What do you love doing?
It's tough because I do love a good club like the Laugh Factory when that's sold out and it's like a packed room. It's hot. Same with Danny's. Same with any improv. Any club really that's just packed out. It's usually a good time. But I also just love going to like those brewery shows or those bar shows where you can get like 100 people just kind of jammed all in there and like around you. And it's just wild energy and everyone's having a good time. I have the most fun with those because I can just fuck around, for as long as I want and just have a good time with people and like actually make their night,
Yeah, those are my favorite personally. If you get a bar and you want to book me or Cam, please at us in our socials. I do have that posted in the description. And we'll be dropping socials later. DM us, book us. We are very bookable. Yeah. Especially for them bar shows, baby. Because we did Shots and Giggles about a year ago.
Yeah, that was a while ago, yeah. I love those types of shows. I did a run of shows where we went, started in northern Wisconsin. It was like this winery that this veteran had built on his property. He built it out of spite because his neighbors were complaining about him partying too much. And so he got like all the legal licenses to have a winery on his property. I was like, and he had a flamethrower and he let me shoot the flamethrower.
Heck yeah.
And so it was just all these like local townies hanging out at this dude's winery and he did a show there. And then it was the rest of the tour run was that. It was just small little bars way out in the middle of nowhere in some town you never heard of. And it's just like all the regulars at the bar, and you're just showing up and just like giving them the night of their life. And like that's the best.
That's a lot of fun for sure. And cutting loose and being a little bit freer.
Yeah.
You normally would. Those nights mean a lot. I think those are more intimate, more raw, more real with people. What influences your comedy, or who influences your comedy?
Yeah. A lot of it comes from like, because I have a good amount of stories. So a lot of it comes from like my family and just like past history. And then just like my own insecurities and stuff too. I've tried to write about like current topics and stuff, but it just doesn't seem like my voice. It's more just like, just like my own internal thoughts and insecurities, and then like just the crazy people in my life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And comedically, who would you say you're inspired by?
There's a lot. I mean, all of the greats, Chappelle, Carlin, Bill Hicks, and then like Tom Segura. He's one of like the best story writers I've always enjoyed. Pryor, Chris Rock, and then we got. I'm trying to think of like newer people too. I've been enjoying Nate Bargatze lately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of him recently, and Bill Burr, of course. But yeah, all the greats.
Their last couple of specials I just watched lately,
Yeah,
Hello World and Bill Burr's last one, and I thought they were excellent. They're some
yeah,
of the best that have come out in the past year.
yeah. It's real good.
Um, and then Nate just has that cool way about him. It's like his style is just so
Yeah,
easy, so effervescent. It's almost like you're just pulled up next to him with a beer and just, hey,
yeah,
what up, buddy?
yeah. Like I've talked to so many guys like that, where it's just like they're just so casually hilarious and have just like that cadence. But like he's like the only comic I've seen that really like nails it.
Mm.
That's just him, you know.
And then just to watch him perform, and especially with Hello World in the round, and it's just it's been cool to watch him grow too,
Yeah,
and knowing that Chicago played a little role in that.
yeah,
Um, for me, I've enjoyed seeing a lot of the comics that have come out of Chicago in the past 15 years.
yeah. I mean Hannibal.
Sebastian, Lorel,
Yeah,
going crazy.
yeah. It's insane the amount of talent that's come out of Chicago, and like has contributed to like what is now like the comedy boom. You know what it's been for the last few years.
Absolutely, because considering what's gone on the coast, how LA was burning, not too long ago,
Yeah,
how New York has had their issues, and we've had about 4-5 new comedy clubs pop up within the
yeah,
past year and a half.
yeah. That was crazy.
And talking to the good homie Matt Drefke, executive producer, Still Not Friday out here in Aurora, which I co-produce, which I'm unfortunately toward the end of my co-producing.
Oh no.
Because I got to get another job. Matt said that with the inclusion of the newer clubs, especially like Comedyplex and Babs and the Comedy Vault, we just got Laugh and Enjoy out here in West Chicago. B. Cole has one. It's semi-private and does like semi-monthly events.
Okay.
He was saying our scene out here, our Chicago suburban scene, is about as big as the St. Louis scene is.
Yeah. And that's just like the suburbs of the city. Yeah. That's crazy.
With it. And it's not just the fact that everybody and their mama that has an Instagram and a TikTok that's popping that's saying, oh no, I'm a comedian. What's up?
Right.
It allows for people who are really out here doing it to do it. And it allows for the people who have come to Chicago, moved to Chicago, because the past 5 years, I have seen, and I know you have seen, quite a lot of people that we even used to do Zoom shows with that are now. I know a good sister from New Orleans who's coming here next month.
Perfect.
A couple other people.
Yeah.
Chicago's got something going.
Chicago's where it's at, you know? It's like, I tell people it's the best spot to be because you can do so much time throughout the week and write jokes and get better. And so you can get in front of so many different audiences. And then when you're working the road, you are so central to like the Midwest. Like you can drive anywhere you really need to in a day, and then you can fly anywhere if you need to. If like you're making that kind of money, super easily. It's like it's the best spot to be, I think, if you want to be like a growing comedian, working comedian.
Yeah, it's a great hub for it, like you said, in all those myriad ways. If you want to work your craft, if you don't want to just be pigeonholed to, oh, I'm only a club performer or I only work independent shows. No, you can branch out. You can do a lot of things here. The one thing that people complain about and are still going to gripe about is industry.
Yeah,
we're getting industry. We have industry, and more is coming. But then, what about making your own stuff?
Right, exactly.
Industry to enjoy.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is like when the industry shows up, they're gonna go, "What have you been working on? What have you been doing? Oh, you don't even have anything? Oh, okay. Well, we'll see you in a couple of years."
Yeah, because I feel like Facebook is one of the many circles of hell. I feel like there's a specific circle of hell relegated for comedians on Facebook.
Definitely.
Especially those that are vets that know better, but that post dumb stuff just for engagement.
Yeah.
Just for talking points. I don't like the fact that a male-dominated industry produces men that cry on keyboards and shares.
Yeah, no, it's insane.
Been in the game this long, and you know how the sausage is made.
Yeah,
You still want to complain about not getting booked on a certain side of town. Sounds like the problem lies within.
yeah.
And you can already go ahead and start your own stuff.
Right.
Why the hell do you need to post anything for views, likes, and shares?
Right.
Stop wasting your time and theirs. What the hell, fam?
What the heck? 100%.
I'm sick of grown folks being stupid. I'm sick of feeling like I'm in high school for the third time.
Yeah.
God,
it really is high school.
Funny on that stage.
Yeah.
Be funny in that notebook.
Yeah. No, you're 1,000% right. It drives me crazy when you see like 40-year-old men crying about how they're not getting booked and like tagging people in comments and trying to start all these fights. I'm like, what are y'all doing?
Like, sir, if you don't stop combing your beard, get fucking attention. Get it together.
Oh my God.
This is the thing. People think I'm just so nice and sweet. I'm a roaster, and I'm about to roast all you hoes. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. I'm not no pushover. I see what y'all been doing. I've been here long enough for some people to almost jade the sweetness side of me. But no. I just want people to get real about what they're doing and what they're putting out.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I wholeheartedly agree. I'm like, if you're going to be a comedian on Facebook, just be funny. Don't worry about all the other bullshit. Like, I think with all of the other like entertainment, like acting and stuff like that, you have to play the game of like, you know, kissing ass and, you know, trying to save face and playing like manipulative games with each other. But like with comedy, like it only works when there's none of that bullshit. It only works when you're just, hey, you're funny, I'm funny, let's just go be funny, and that's it. But when then you get in people getting into their feelings of gossip and trying to play the game of it all, it's just sad. You know, it's like, come on, let's just be adults.
Everything else is distractions. Stop.
Yeah.
It's not WWE.
For real.
Unless you start wearing face paint and tarts in your promo post, stop it. Get some help.
Yeah.
Just let it go. I believe that we can all be better together.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to stop being Little Miss Encouraging. I'm not going to stop believing that my likes and hearts help get some folks through their day. Because y'all don't know, I'm busy as heck, but sometimes my little likes and hearts get me through some shit. But like be real in the field.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just, and then we can get so much better together. So it's like people have to respect each other's funny.
Yeah.
And if it's somebody where it's like, oh, I just can't get into their comedy, you can't relate, that's fine. You don't have to kiss their butt. You don't have to put on theirs.
Yeah. Just keep it moving.
It's respect.
Yeah.
It's respect. There's another human being that got up today to put on clothes and said, I need to be at this venue and sling some jokes. It's respect.
Yeah. 100%.
But again, I've learned that people have to earn respect sometimes.
Yeah. For some reason, like the last like 15 years are showing us that like we work so much better. Comedy works better when we're all together, working together for each other's benefit. But there's still people stuck in that mindset that's like, oh, if they're getting this opportunity, that means I'm not getting it. Like, no, that just means that they're currently getting that opportunity, but there might be a different opportunity for you right around the corner. You know, the more opportunities we all get, it rises the entire thing because we're all out here working and doing comedy, making people laugh. The word's getting out that, hey, if you go to Chicago, you'll see some funny fucking people.
Absolutely.
You know?
And then when it comes to rooms and shows, it's about different fits. And some people have to realize that.
Yeah, exactly.
Running the show out here, and I know you've been out to Two Brothers or for Still Not Friday. Well, our show was in a big music hall.
Yeah.
So if you tend to do shows in quiet little cafes in Uptown, or if your stage presence is more meek as a mouse and not so commanding, like it doesn't draw people in or pull people in, you wind up getting lost.
Yeah, if you can't hold an audience, you know.
Then bigger stages sometimes call for more dynamic energy, more dynamic performers, call for different things. So
and it's not to say like those types of comics are bad. It just means like, hey, this type of room isn't for you. You know, you should find those smaller venues, those smaller rooms where you can create that environment that works best for you.
Absolutely. And just like you said, if you can't find it, you can create it.
Exactly.
The thing is, and I had to put the little caveat, the little asterisk under it. I said, if you're club ready funny.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that has to be said. It's more than you just picking up your Judy Carter book and getting them first few chapters down. It's having a commitment to, do I have a type 5? Cool. Is it a type 10 now? Awesome. Is it a type 20? Cool. Have I been shopping it around? Awesome. Did it get accepted or passed on the club? Oh, now I can go do something.
Yeah. 100%. There's so many people that try to get to that level earlier than they should, and I think it's like the worst mistake comics can make is trying to go for opportunities that you're not ready for, because that first impression stays with people for a while. Right. And so it's like you're giving like your mid-level mediocrity, like meteoric. Yeah, if you're giving your half-assed version of yourself who's not fully like at your best, that's who they're going to remember for the next 5 years. And so it's like, yeah, you won't get passed down, and now they're going to think that's who you are until they see you kill again later. But they're going to have to see you kill many times before that first impression goes away.
Exactly.
So I'm like making sure, like you said, making sure you have that type 5, a type 5, meaning every single second is perfect. And like, you can take it any room and it's going to kill, making sure you have those 5, 10, 15s and stuff, then going after the opportunities. There's so many people that want to go straight from just like, okay, I wrote 5 minutes, and now I should host stuff. Now I should feature at Zany's, where's my spot? I'm going to do these festivals now. It's like, come on, just focus on getting good for a while.
That's the main thing. Getting good and consistently getting good. It's about, I got it. Now rinse and repeat. And now make it a little bit better here, a little bit better here, a little bit better here. It's not stagnation. If you're stagnant, you're not growing and you're not doing it.
Exactly.
If you're just only doing the same 5, 10, 20 minutes for years at a time and there's no growth, there's no tags, there's no additions, there's no changes, that's why I like to think of my jokes as little toddlers. They all little babies. I'm all growing all them little babies. They all got little characters and little personalities. And a couple of them are kindergartners now. And I'm still putting a little flair on them. I'm still giving her little lessons and going through some milestones. That's important, especially for your first 5 to 10 years, right?
Yeah.
When do you feel like you knew you had found your voice, your distinct niche in comedy?
I think over the pandemic, because before then I'd kind of written a lot of just kind of smaller things, and I tried like a lot of different things, trying to do maybe more artsy stuff or more new related current topic stuff or more edgelordy stuff. But over the pandemic is when I was able to just go out and just hammer it and figure out what works and what doesn't work. And so, that was like, if I say I started in 2014, it was like 2020. So it's like 6 years before I'm like, okay. So like I had like 10 minutes that like worked pretty much anywhere before then, but in LA, it was so hard to build that 10 minutes because you're getting like 3-minute spots here and there. And then I was also working, but like it wasn't anything I loved. And then once I spent a couple of years in Grand Rapids, just grinding and like figuring out who I was and kind of like getting back in touch with like my Midwestern self, by the time end of like 2 years, I had an hour of stuff that like I saw like, okay, yeah, this is who I am, and I love this, and I know people are gonna love this too.
So it was coming back home and retracing your steps a little bit that made you feel.
Definitely. And then just having the space to work it out, like in Grand Rapids, like I said, you can go out every night and do like 10 minutes and you can have an actual audience there. Like there's a community of like regular people that just love to go to shows and like hang out and get drunk and support comics.
That's excellent.
Yeah, it's cool.
I'm glad to hear that you were in such an awesome community. And again, why I want to try to make some time in October or November to just focus on Grand Rapids comics.
Yeah.
I want people to get a chance to know what you guys have going there.
It's starting to like sizzle out a little bit. I'm getting kind of sad because like everyone like um, there's a group of people like Dante Lillard and now Novak. I don't know if you've heard these names. Nicole Melnick, you might have heard.
I'm gonna go. Mhm.
Yeah, they all moved from Grand Rapids out to Detroit, and then a few people have moved over to Chicago, and then I think somewhere else, someone moved somewhere else. But yeah, so it's starting to fizzle out a little bit, but there's like a new generation that's kind of showing up there, and like, they're kind of trying to carry the torch, I think, too. So that's kind of cool.
Nice. Yeah, I
Yeah,
know a couple of older guys along with Carl had reached out to me too.
yeah.
Brian Atkinson, I know.
Okay, yeah, I've known Brian for a while.
Yeah, a few folks. So I'm looking forward to chopping it up with them too, because
Yeah,
I wanna get to know just the special, like I said, the special sauce that y'all had, and see if we can
yeah, yeah.
just get a
That,
little
that
taste.
yeah, it was just like that COVID time. Grand Rapids has such an interesting comedy scene history where it was just like nothing, and then it just like overnight became a brand new thing.
Mm.
And then like when that by the time that happened, where more mics started to pop up, COVID happened, and instead of letting it fizzle out, everybody like doubled down. We're like, no, we're gonna keep this shit going, and like really built the scene during that time.
That's
And
it.
we kept every bar open because we just
Man, because how COVID and all the shutdowns ravaged
yeah,
uh, bars and restaurants.
yeah,
Just it's awesome to have venues still going and still being able to have comedy as part of their
yeah,
program. Um, where did I want to pivot? When you mentioned earlier, one of the things we said some of these griping comics need to have under their belt, what other kind of projects and
yeah.
stuff. Have you do you have any favorites, or is, I don't want you to divulge too much if you don't want to. If you got some secrets, if you got some stuff in the pipeline, what have you. Like kind of projects like that have you delved into?
I've started a lot of things with people, and that always just fizzle out, and it's really frustrating. Yeah,
Mm.
that's the most frustrating thing I think in comedy is everybody, not everybody, but comics in nature are just lazy people. So it's hard. I've started a lot of like sketch things. You know, we get together 3 times, we write scripts, and then nothing ever comes of it. So I've
Right.
got a lot of just sketches and scripts that haven't gone anywhere. That hopefully one day I'll be able to do something with. I had my TikTok for a long time, and I was posting clips. I was doing like kind of talking in my car and kind of taking my material and turning it into like a rant in the car type of thing. And I got to like 16,000 followers, and then someone stole my TikTok account, and that's all gone. Yeah, it's cool. So little
Why?
things
Why?
like that, but
Don't let us have nothing. Why?
yeah. But there's a couple things that hopefully I can make happen in the next year, which I'm excited about.
And I think that's important for comics to do. I think everybody should have at least one dream thing that they pursue, whether it sits on the shelf or
Yeah,
whether it gets put into development,
yeah,
just as long as you put you into it.
yeah.
Um, I had applied for Yes and Laughter Lab a couple years ago, wound up starting on my pilot. And,
Okay.
you know, I'd done packets for SNL,
Yep.
for Comedy Central shows or stuff before. So those writing exercises, and they
Yep.
say write this segment as if you were writing for John Oliver, write this
Yeah.
segment as if you were doing a new sketch for Impractical Jokers. I'm in my mind like, yeah, now I can finally imagine
Yeah.
how I would take over the show.
Yeah.
And put it into the funniest stuff I could. So those kind of things still intrigue me, and I'm still going to seek those out.
Yeah.
For those opportunities. But the fact, like you said, I've already put the work aside. There's a folder on this computer that has
Right.
pilot and a couple of writers.
Exactly. Yeah.
I was just looking at it. So it's like, yeah, I've done some of that work. I've gotten my feet wet. When you think about it, it's what? It's all writing at the end of the day. It's just
Yeah.
all a matter of for who, for what format, right?
Yeah.
What'd you go to school for in Florida?
Music production. Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to be a composer. I wanted to do music for film and stuff. That's what I interned for when I moved out to LA.
Oh,
Yeah.
very dope. So what do you play?
I'm like what's it? We're intermediate at a lot of different stuff. So like piano, guitar, drums, anything with a string, really.
Yeah.
I'm not too bad at. But it's been like at this point now, it's been 10 years or 9 years since I graduated. So and like I made the pivot from going like pursuing that to pursuing comedy in like 2018, 2017.
Mhm.
And so I haven't been as practiced as I was back in the day. But every now and then I like to jam a little bit.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What kind of stuff are you doing?
Well, when I'm by myself, I'm usually playing like blues type of stuff, and I usually just riff and like I'll find like a backtrack and just play to that. Or I play a power hour a good amount of times too. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. I'm like a substitute musician that just kind of jumps in wherever they need me. It's fun.
I know I had seen you at the one power hour.
Yeah,
I think I've seen pictures of you jamming. But
yeah,
if I got to get back down there, I've only gone to one power hour, regrettably, just because I live a power hour away from Chicago. But
yeah.
it is one of the most magical mic
It
experiences.
really is. Like if you want someone to really like try to grasp what the Chicago comedy scene is, you take them to a power hour.
Yeah.
It's like it's a VFW basement, all these crazy people stuffed in the top basement. You know, you've got $2 beers. You've got people just saying the wildest shit. You've got a guy who's getting drunk talking shit to comics. You've got a band playing, and then if you go down this little narrow hallway, it takes you to this patio in the back where everybody's chain smoking cigarettes and riffing and making each other laugh. Like it's the best experience. It's my favorite place to be.
It really is like a little microcosm of the scene.
Yeah,
All
and
those characters
yeah, like
around.
throughout the night, just everybody shows up at some point. You know, it's the place to be.
To me, that's magical, and the next most magical would be the Lincoln Lodge.
Yeah, same thing.
Especially weekend nights. It's the same thing. You have all these characters around. You look at folks and you know they're a freaking comedian, and then you go in one of those rooms because you got your ticket for one of those shows.
Yeah.
You see that same offbeat,
Yeah.
crazy person or strikingly handsome, but like there's something off about that guy, and he gets on that stage and he tells you the wildest stories. Yes.
Yeah.
Lincoln Lodge is one of those places.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the Lincoln Lodge.
Yeah, folks give it, Lincoln Lodge is so wonderful for independent comedy shows and for comedians who are about it, who are about the
Yeah.
business.
Like they're so open to just like letting people try stuff out there. Like even if it doesn't work out, they'll give them a couple shows to see how it goes. You know, and like they have like the three main theaters, and it's like you can really try to do whatever you need to. Like you've got these smaller rooms, you got a big room, and I don't know. I think I love what they do there.
Yeah, it's excellent. It's a one of a kind venue in Chicago, and I think
Yeah,
everybody needs to check out at least one show there, especially Saturday night, Friday or Saturday night,
yeah,
main room flagship show.
yeah,
I've loved performing there the times that I have.
yeah.
I'm sure you've done that one.
Flagship show. I actually don't know if I have. Maybe 2 years ago. I've done one room. I've done one show in the main room. I don't remember if it was the flagship show or something else. Otherwise, I've just done people's like own produced shows,
Nice.
and uh, yeah. But that's the thing is like you'll work with so many different people, just by like, and it's always just at the last, Lincoln Lodge. You'll get to meet so many different people too.
Which is again Laugh Factory.
Yeah,
Who do you see when you walk in? Right? And then on those nights when the crowd's packed, freaking magical. Even on those nights when you just maybe have that bottom filled out,
yeah,
you'll have a hot show. Because
yeah.
I've done quite a few Las Locas shows there, and just always had a great time. That's probably my favorite stage in Chicago is Laugh Factory.
Yeah, I think it might be same. I think it might be for me. It's like trying to think. The Den is pretty sweet too.
Ooh.
Yeah, but I love the Laugh Factory. Yeah, I don't think I've ever had like a bad time there.
Never. I've never had a bad time there. Like, man, have I ever? Nope, haven't struggled. Not once. Not once. And I worked that whole going from 5 minutes to 15 on
Yeah.
their stage, which was one of the best experiences in my life. So shout out to Curtis Shaw Flag.
Yeah.
I gotta get Curtis's props. I want to go back, take a quick look at the Den.
Yeah, the Den is crazy.
Definitely one of the most gorgeous stages in Chicago.
Yeah. And like when that room is packed, it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
A lot of people have filmed stuff there. It's like for obvious reasons.
Sam Morrell.
Yeah.
One of my favorite specials shot at the Den. And that was about 5 years ago. It's a gorgeous space.
Yeah. I think if they were to bring back something like a TV show or something about comics in Chicago, it should be shot at the Den. Ooh. Or like do something that's like at different stages, like the Den, the Laugh Factory, the Zanies, of course. Go down the Riddles. I think that'd be cool.
There's something so magical about that Zanies Old Town.
Yeah.
Shoebox.
Yeah.
And a low enough ceiling and sound being awesome.
Yeah, that's such an interesting club, and like that, they're another place that has like an amazing green room too. And it's always just random characters. One night we were there for what was it, the late night show with Calvin, and then just Jeff Garland just showed up, the guy from like the Goldbergs and like all these different shows. He just happened to be in town, like doing like. And Rosebud Baker was at things earlier that night, so he came to see Rosebud, and then he showed up and was hanging out in the green room, just talking shit to people as they walked by. I was like, "What is happening right now?" This is one of those things.
Amazing.
Yeah,
it's those kind of nights that happen to make us be like,
yeah,
it's part of why I'm in it.
Yeah. It's just you'll never know what happens, and it's always like the most fun stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm getting toward my two favorite parts of the show.
Okay.
One is host feature headliner.
Okay.
And so this is going to be an interesting one, and I'm going to give you, let's see. Host feature headliner on this 95-degree day.
For real?
Richard Pryor, George Carlin, Bill Hicks.
So you got Pryor hosting, and then Carlin featuring, and then Hicks headlining?
No, I'm asking you.
Oh. What order do I want them in? Mm-hmm. Oh. See, the wild card is Hicks, because he can just nuke a show. That's the hard part. You got to have Pryor headline, I think. Carlin, you can put him in the middle. And so I don't want Bill Hicks to host, though. This is hard.
He's liability if you let him host.
Yeah, because he could just go off the rails and do like a 20-minute opening thing about UFOs and ketamine and whatever. Who knows? Like Carlin at least has like the generations of like comedy history. So I think Carlin has to host because he can keep shit. He like even though like in his last years he was more just like railing against the system. He had such like a long history of like different versions of comedy and being like a professional. And so I would trust him to host the show and keep things moving. And then give 20 minutes to Hicks, let him do whatever he wants to do, let him smoke on stage. And then just let Pryor do however long he wants to do. Yeah.
Excellent. I think that's a pretty good choice.
Yeah.
I'd still let Hicks host.
Just to see what happens.
And again, I feel like, feature in the headline, I got to bring it home.
Right.
Feature, not have Pryor headline.
That's true.
That would be one of my favorite shows of all time. And then so finally, who Cam Honeyager is your comedy bestie?
Such a hard one. I've got so many besties. I'd say Tim Brennan and Nick Kunzman, if you know those guys.
Shout out to Tim and Nick.
Yeah.
Nick, I still got to get up with you on a sketch or something sometime whenever I'm in Chicago. We got to figure that out. Tim, good dude. What up, Tim? Yeah, that Shots and Giggles I was on with you too was one of my favorite shows ever.
Yeah, He's great. I have like a group chat with them. We write a lot and like bounce stuff off of each other. We go to Golden Corral, we party.
Iron sharpening iron right there. Well,
Exactly.
maybe shrimp baskets sharpening shrimp baskets.
Yeah.
But as always, a pleasure hanging and chatting with you, Cam.
Great.
What do you have coming up? What do you want to promote?
Yeah, well, this Thursday I'll be at the Lincoln Lodge, late night at the Lodge, kind of like a talk show type of vibe where I'll do a set and then have some back and forth with Tina, who's the host. And then I'll be speaking to Tim Brennan. I'll be doing a show in Crystal Lake for Laugh It Off. I think it's at a bar called The Other Side. It's like a sober bar.
Nice.
And so come out for that. It's going to be a great show. We have actually like a really good lineup for that show. Yeah, it's going to be great.
So good old sober bar sounds fun.
I didn't know that at first too. I was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna go get lit." Then they're like, "No,
we're gonna get fruity. We're gonna get nootropic."
No, but first time I did that place though, it actually because I was trying to think of because my mom's an addict and she used to bring me to AA meetings all the time, and so I've been in like a lot of those type of environments where it's just a lot of AA type of people. And like just doing that show sparked like a whole like 10 minutes of material for me. Just to be because like it just brought me back to that space when I was a kid that I hadn't really thought about. And so yeah, that was cool. So I'm excited to do those jokes now when I'm there on June 28th.
June 28th. You heard Cam got a hot one. I also have a hot one this coming Saturday, June 28th in Chicago at the Lincoln Lodge. It's an early show. Joke Sister Chicago premiering, debuting. We're at 5 o'clock. We're at 5 o'clock, but we got a heavy hitter lineup, including me, KB Marion, Arlita Hall, Lisa Laird.
Oh yeah!
From New York, we got the founder and director of the Black Women in Comedy Laugh Fest, my big sis Joanna Briley, headlined by the great Janelle Jackson, born and raised in Chicago, but out there killing it in New York for the past 25 years. So please come on through to the Lincoln Lodge this Saturday, or follow Cam at Cam Honeyager. Check him out and make sure to get up with Cam at some of them shows.
Yeah, that's gonna be a crazy show. I kind of want to say screw you, Tim, and go to Lincoln Lodge.
I'll send you some clips.
Sounds good.
Cam, it's been a pleasure.
Been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
All right. This has been another great episode of Your Comedy Bestie, episode number 10. What the hell, me, Cam Honeyager. We'll be back next Tuesday with some more. Peace. Be good. Out. Safe. Love you guys. Bye. Pray for the world. Pray for peace.